Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is what makes you stand out. So before I get into the video, I do want to talk about a deck that was sent to me that I'll be using in this video. So I'm going to flip over a second to talk about this deck and then we will get into picking you guys' crystals. So about a week ago, I had an email from Millennial Tarot. They wanted to send me their deck to kind of like review and look at. And when they sent me the images, I was super intrigued anyway. Then they sent it to me. Guys, I love this deck. Now, I'm very careful about what I talk about on my channel. I want my heart to be with it and I want to really love something before I recommend it to you. I really love this deck. So it has 78 cards and it basically mirrors the millennial experience. So it's kind of like normal tarot, except the pentacles are swag, the swords are thoughts, the wands are vibes, and the cups are feels. So it's very like modernized, and as you can see on the screen, they have really cool imagery. And not only do they have just the meaning of the cards, they also have little quotes underneath, very modernized quotes like DIY skills, celebrity stylist, the Instagram guru. So they kind of have that modern take on it, which I find interesting. Very colorful, very bright, and I love when a deck as well can reveal things to me that I didn't just see. Like it kind of goes beyond the cards. This deck does that for me, which I really love. They also have the astrology signs and the elements on the cards as well. So if you are new to tarot, they have that as well. Just all around, I feel like this deck is super interesting. So I wanted to show you the images here so you can see it for yourself. You're going to see it when I use it in today's video anyway, but I wanted you guys to just see it for yourself, see if you like the vibe. And yeah, basically I'm going to have the link to this deck in my description box for you guys to look into if you want to. And yeah, let's get back to the video. Okay, so like I said, we're taking a look at what makes you stand out. So I have 4 crystals for you guys to choose from. So pile number 1 is the carnelian. Pile number 2 is the selenite. Pile number 3 is the green calcite. And pile number 4 is the turquoise. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual. And I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what makes you stand out. So you guys chose the carnelian crystal. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to the oracle cards. Straight away when I opened up to your energy, I was shown dolphins, and dolphins always remind me of like the inner child, very playful, childlike energy. So I don't know whether you look quite young. You don't have to. I just feel like you have a very young presence. I feel like you have a very free-spirited, optimistic presence that I think you know that there's this TikTok sound and it's like, you've charmed me, and I feel like you're quite charming like that. I feel like you could persuade people to do things. I feel like you have a way with making things sound excited and making things sound fun, a way of explaining things to people in a way that sounds really fun, and I feel like that's something that really stands out about you, because it's like, even if you were to tell people like a story, it's like the way you say it. I feel like you bring humor, maybe a bit of a comedian, or it's just you being charismatic and you really bring people into like a story or something that's happened. I feel like you I feel like that's what helps you stand out. I'm being told you guys would have really good stage presence. So if you do perform, because you guys may perform, even if you don't, I just feel like you would have really good stage presence. I feel like if you were an actor, actress, whatever, I feel like you would have a really good presence. You'd be able to bring people in. You know, you always have that one character that's just really funny and charming and you're like, I like that person. You kind of have that vibe to you. I'm hearing like ray of sunshine, like that's kind of what you give off, which is really beautiful. You may have prominent fire placements, particularly Leo. That's something that's coming up as well. So pile number 1, what stands out about my pile number ones? Yeah, I don't know if you've ever watched the Teletubbies. I don't know if you've ever watched the Teletubbies, but when it would like open up, there'd be like a sun, and there was like a baby's face in the sun that would like go up in the air, if that makes sense. So like the sun would like shine up for the Teletubbies in the Teletubby world, and then in the sun was like a baby's face, and I'm being shown like you guys be in the sun. Like you shine is what I'm trying to say. Like you really do. You've got quite a bright aura, bright energy, a charismatic energy, and I feel like your aura introduces you before you introduce yourself, because you could be somebody that's quite quiet, but it's your aura that's very grand. You have a very regal, grand energy about you. Pile number one. What stands out about my pile number ones? What stands out about my pile number ones? Some of you guys may have lovely smiles, I'm hearing. I'm also being told jewelry. Some of you guys may wear very bright jewelry or always complement your outfits with jewelry. And then I'm also being taken to the hand. So I don't know if some of you guys have hand tattoos, or because we were talking about jewelry, you could wear certain like rings and bracelets that like staples. But I'm really being taken to the hands. I feel like you guys may have nice hands. Or you may always get your nails done. There's something about that. So we have the Six of Fields, throwback, better together. And we have the High Priestess, the festival goer, understanding how life works. Okay. You feel like home. And I think that's something that stands out. I feel like you probably get people that say to you, I feel like I've known you forever. I feel like I've known you. Yeah, I feel like I've known you forever. I feel like I've known you for ages. I feel like this isn't our first conversation, because you have like a welcoming energy that just brings people in. And when I'm looking at the Six of Fields here, and obviously you've got the little like Game Boy thing, you've got the Tamagotchi, like when you think of childhood and you think of certain things in your childhood that would have in those times made you feel safe, for me that would be like Animal Crossing, Doctor Who, things like that. Like I'll return back to those things because they make me feel safe, they make me feel at home. That's how I found comfort when I was younger. So with that coming through for you guys, I feel like you make people feel at home, you make people feel nurtured. And again, it's the childlike energy, which again, Leo 5th house energy. It's like you bring people back to their inner child when life was more colourful, when life was more bright. If you remember like back in the day, when you were younger, everything was colourful. When, you know, you'd go to places as a child and things that were designed for like children, they were very colourful, they were very bright. And I feel like you bring that to people, and that's what stands out, because there's a joyous feeling when they think of you like that, which is really, really beautiful. And then you have the High Priestess, the festival goer, understanding how life works. What's quite interesting about you guys is, yes, you have this childlike essence of optimism, but you're so full of wisdom, like an elder. And I think that that's where that grand energy then comes in, because the wisest people know that connecting to the inner child and doing things that fill your inner child and light your inner child up, they're going to help you grow, and they're going to help you continue to see life in that particular light. And I feel like you're aware of this, so there's a wisdom then that comes through from you as well. And I think that people see that, but I think that sometimes sometimes that side of yourself, it's only seen by other people that are connected to that too, if that makes sense. So that part of you where you're full of wisdom, I feel like you may drop some knowledge sometimes, and there'll be like a 50-50 split in the room, where there's like 50% that may even think what you're saying is out there and laugh and be like, oh, that person's so silly, and still connect to that inner child energy and just be like, oh, they're a bit crazy, like joking, where there's another 50% of people in that room that are like, whoa, that person dropped some facts. That person, because you may say things that are so out there that people would be like laughing for a second, and then it's like, oh no, wait, that person was actually telling the truth. Wait, that person was actually that was actually some knowledge, and I just laughed at it because it sounded silly at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, that person has knowledge. And I think that's what's, you know, really stands out about you as well. But I feel like sometimes that's not seen all too much because people might not get it, but the right ones do. That's what I'm being told. But I think both of these work in tandem. I feel like you're both of these energies, this regal elder energy and that more inner child, inner son energy. I think you cling on to them both. I feel like they're both very prevalent within your energy, which is really, really beautiful. Pile number 1. What makes my pile number 1 stand out? What is it about my pile number 1s that stands out? Ace of Fields, which is the Ace of Cups. Swipe right, a new opportunity. I feel like what has you stand out as well is that you guys are a breath of fresh air. Sorry guys, I feel like you guys are a breath of fresh air. Because I feel like you lead with a heart, and like I said, with that 6 of Cups energy, it's like there's a home feeling with you, there's a genuinity, there's a warmth from you. So I feel like people naturally gravitate towards that. I think that you have a very pure way of expressing your love to people, of expressing compliments to people, and I think you really do, I'm gonna say, top people up. That's what I'm gonna say. I feel like you really do top people up and make people feel very good about themselves. It's like you shine a light on their greatness a lot of the time, which is really, really beautiful. And I think that's something, because I see a lot of people walking away from you and feeling really good because you've said something to them that I feel like it's stuck, and you may just be like, oh, I'm just saying it to them because I like their hair like that, or I like their eyebrows, or I like the way they said this, or I like the way they spoke. Whereas in their mind, like 50 years from now, that's still top 3 best compliment they've ever had, and they still think about that. So then they're going home and like looking in the mirror or looking at the way they interact with people and going, this is a good thing about me. And I think that you do that, and I think that's really, really beautiful, the way that you bring that up to people. I feel like you compliment people on things, and because a lot of people won't compliment people. A lot of people may admire something, but they might not say it, whether it's just insecurities or pride, or they just don't want to. They may feel like, you know, you already get loads of compliments and they just don't decide to, whereas you just, it's like rays of sunshine just like popping up. And I think you really do lift people up like that, which I think is really beautiful. I keep being shown a lot of games from back in the day, like Sonic and Super Mario and Pokemon. You know, I'm being shown that. I almost feel like I want to play those games with you. I don't know why. I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like you're really fun. And I don't know why I'm being taken to gaming. I don't know if you may game, may always have like a little Game Boy or Nintendo Switch or something with you, but there's like a nostalgia feeling about you too. Yeah. It's almost like I want to throw everything away and I just want to play. You kind of bring that essence out of people, which is really, really lovely. Really, really lovely. I feel like you look at life very colourful, and I think that's something that stands out. Yeah, that's something that stands out as well, because it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's this picture of these 2 people on a bus, and one of them's looking out of one side of the window, the other one's looking out of the other side of the window, and one of them looks out and is like, like, life is terrible, you know, and kind of picks apart what he sees outside. Whereas the other guy, he's like, oh my god, life is great, and he's looking at all the beauty outside. And I feel like you have people look at things through that perspective, and I think that's something that stands out about you, because it's almost like, and this is where your elder energy comes in too. It's like, I want to come to you for advice. I want to look at your outlook of something I've just been through, because I feel like not only will you have the wisdom to pass on to me about the situation, but I also feel like you're going to tailor my view to look at it in a different way, in a way that I could flip it to make it work for me. Yes, this didn't work out for me, but I can flip it like this, and I know this because this person just pointed that out. So I feel like you're really good at that. You have that leadership energy because of that. It's really, really, really beautiful. Ace of Fields, a new opportunity. Yeah, you're definitely you give off this fresh energy. I feel like you're like a cool iced tea on like a really, really hot day. I feel like that's what you are. You know, when you go somewhere new and there's all these exciting new things, I feel like you're like that. It's like, oh, shiny. That's kind of what stands out about you. I do see people being very attracted to you, so I would say to be cautious and wary, although I feel like you already know, of people that may love bomb you quite quickly, because I see people getting excited and trying to jump into the whirlwind very quickly, maybe almost like projecting sometimes. So I would say to be careful with that. Because I feel like for you guys, especially relationships and friendships as well, because they're equally as important, I feel like you want people that see this elder energy too and acknowledge that part of you too, and not just because even though I feel like you have that like entertainment energy, you know, I think it's Robbie Williams, he sings "Let Me Entertain You." That's your song, I feel. I'll link it. But I feel like you're more than that. So be careful who comes around you just for the show, because I feel like you are a pick-me-up to a lot of people, but there's so much depth to you too. And I feel like the people that are in your inner circle that you can then lean on, I think they need to see this version and honor that version of you too, because you have a very, very beautiful heart. Very beautiful, and I think you're very giving, and I think that stands out about you as well. Pile number... Boundaries for you guys is a big karmic lesson that you've been learning, I think, because you have such like unique energy and such a bright energy, and you're open to giving, that I think sometimes people will just take, and it's just like, just because I'm open doesn't mean you can just keep taking, because I'm not getting anything back and I'm getting drained. So I would say that I really do feel like energetically for you guys, boundaries is something that you've been learning, which has been quite a big lesson. I'm putting a price on what you have to offer as well. You know, what are my needs? What do I want? You know what I mean? What fuels me? I think that is a really big lesson. Pile number... Let me get... Where did it fall? We have the 9 of Feels, which is the 9 of Cups, blessed, hashtag blessed actually, the tipping point. Lots of feels. I feel like you emotionally move people. I feel like you can bring people, because the thing is about your inner child and children, they're a lot more open to like showing their emotions. That ego and that pride hasn't got in the way yet. I know that's not always the case, but you tend to see children, especially the younger they are, they don't know, you know, to hide their emotions. They haven't been taught to do certain things like that yet. So in that earlier years, they're going to be a lot more open to crying and being emotional and just expressing how they feel. I don't like this. This makes me happy. I don't like this food. And I feel like you may be very open with your emotions, but I also feel like you allow a space or an outlet to allow other people to be open with their emotions. And this is where you move people emotionally, because I feel like you hold space for intimacy, because I feel like you're very, I feel like I see you guys going, that made me embarrassed. Oh my God, this happened to me 10 years ago and it made me really embarrassed. Or this happened to me 5 years ago and it broke my heart. And it's like you're open about it. So it's like, oh, this person's being very genuine. I want to share that too. I never felt like it was okay to share that. And I think that's what stands out about you as well, is there's a genuinity and a purity, which is again taking me to that more childlike essence that you have. And there's no shame in expressing certain emotions, and I feel like you open people up to doing that, which allows that outlet, which people then kind of feel nurtured by you or feel connected to you in that way then, because it's like, oh, they've seen these parts of me and they've allowed me to express this, which is very healing and very beautiful. And again, that's where you then flip it and go, but if this didn't happen, you wouldn't have got this, and if this didn't happen, you would have got this. So it's like you flip it over, and again, it's that sun energy of alchemy. It's fire. You allow people to bring certain things up to the surface, which I feel like a lot of people don't bargain when they first get to know you. And I think that's what stands out as well. I think the more people get to know you, the more they're opening up, and it's like, I didn't bargain for this. And that's where they then remember you, because I feel like maybe you're very healing to other people's inner child, which is really, really beautiful. I feel like you also make everything look joyous. Maybe, and again, it's just the way you express things. I feel like you express things in a very optimistic way. Like, and it's quite interesting, because I think for you guys to have a lot of depth, you really had to dig to get down there. You know, you really had to go into the subconscious woundings, which means you've probably had a lot of nights where you felt very lonely, and you've probably had a lot of nights where you purged some really deep emotions. And, you know, you've really, for you to be able to be open like this, I feel like you had to clear a lot, and that wouldn't have been easy. But the way you explain it, it's almost like And it's not you sugarcoating, it's just there's a grand, ferocious way in the way that you explain certain things that you might have been through, where it's inspiring and it gives people that activation to go through, to work through their own woundings or to rise out of their own situations. You really lift people up. Yeah, you really, really do lift people up. It's really, really beautiful. The back of the deck, you have the Star, which I'm not shocked at. The Soul Cyclist, starting afresh. So again, it's that fresh energy. And I feel like with the Aquarius energy, you know, you elevate people's minds, which is really, really beautiful. You help people like rebirth and become that best version of themselves. And a lot of people feel like they can't become the best version of themselves because it's like they feel shamed by parts of their past. And to become that best version of yourself, and when I say the best version, we all are, but we have to acknowledge who we are. I hope this makes sense. We have to acknowledge every single part of ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. And I feel like a lot of people will almost shame and dislike a version of themselves from 5 years ago when they got the heart broke. You know, they've shunned that part of themselves. And I feel like you allow people to awaken those parts of themselves and see those parts of themselves as a warrior as well, you know. I went through this, but it made me like this. And I actually love that version of me because that version of me got me here. And that version of me was fighting my hardest battles, but they got me here. And I love that version of me. You know what I mean? And you get people to that point where it's like, I always was worthy. I always was this warrior, even if I didn't see it. I always was that best version of myself. You know what I mean? It was all an illusion. And I feel like you help people get there, even sometimes by just being a helping hand. And, you know, someone's going through it and it's like, you have, you know, you are the strongest person I know. You your mind works in such a really cool way, the way that you're breaking it down like that. Like you're able to get through all of this pain and transmute it. Look at you. And it's like you lift people up. It's like I'm being shown the Olympic torch for some reason. Like you really do help people keep going. Does that make sense? Like you help people keep going on their journey and be a light for people. I think that you're a guiding light, which is really beautiful. Bit of a cheerleader. Pile number 1. Oh goodness, I just chucked those cards violently and I have no idea why. I was just shuffling them and they just went boom. Pile number 1. What makes my pile number 1 stand out, please, spirit guides? What makes my pile number 1 stand out? We have sensuality, your freedom flowing from far away. I dance, I love, I laugh, I play. What makes my pile number 1 stand out, please, spirit guides? We have success, success that's true belong to me, success with honor, integrity. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. What makes my pile number 1 stand out? And we have health. Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring to me your health and might. On the back of the deck, you have strength. Not shocked by that one. Strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I empower. So I feel like you help people. Let me just make sure that's straight. I feel like you help people endure. People that are going through very heavy experiences or maybe going through a bad time. I feel like you light people up, you lift people up. I think that you're a source of inspiration for people. I think that you are a guiding light for people. And I think you just pick people up, and that's what stands out about you. Even if you're just being silly, I feel like, you know, someone could be going through something and you're there and you're saying something that's kind of funny or silly, and it's like you're making me feel better. It's infectious. You know, laughter is infectious. Smiling is infectious. And just giving somebody a little compliment sometimes, it can go a long way. And I feel like you're one of those people. And if sometimes you may not, you know, for those of you that may sometimes feel a little bit shy to say things, I feel like just the way you look at things sometimes, because I don't think you realize sometimes you look at something in a way and it makes people's minds tick, or makes people look at things in a brighter way. Or you may just say something and it's almost like I'm laughing, or it's like, oh my God, how did that even come out of your mouth? And you just have that way of being. You're kind of a light worker in that way. sensuality or freedom flowing from far away. I dance, I love, I laugh, I play. When I think of that and I think of the sacral chakra, just in any, I have to be careful with this particular card. YouTube's very strict at the moment, I don't know why, but in any era of just expressing yourself, whether it's through your physical body, your emotions, you know, anything like that, I feel like there's an openness, there's a pride in who you are, and an understanding in who you are, and a confidence in who you are, and even the parts that people may shame. And I think that's something that really stands out about you, that people feel really, really drawn to and really, really inspired by. And with success here as well, I just feel like I'm thinking of the saying, never a failure, always a lesson. It's like doing it for the plot. You know what I mean? Oh, we just missed our bus, or we just missed our train. Don't worry, it's for the plot. We're going to go on a journey. Like, the little, like, inconveniences, and it's like, oh no, that's part of it. That's part of the journey. That's part of the story. No worries. Let's go on an adventure. Let's do this. I feel like you kind of have that, and I feel like you looking at life that way, I feel like it's going to aid you, or has already aided you in maybe making career moves, and moves with like money, or moves in just getting certain things. You know what I mean? You may look to people like you're quite lucky, but it's just like, that's because a lot of shortcomings that you've had, I feel like you've flipped them into goals, or you do a really good job of building yourself up after them, to the point that it doesn't even look like you went through anything. You know what I mean? Which is quite interesting, and I feel like that's where you separate people that just see that childlike essence to the people that really see that warrior that went through a lot and gained that wisdom. I feel like you're going to meet different types of people that are drawn to different parts of you, because there's a lot of depth here. And then with health, Mother Earth, sweet, Mother Earth, bright, bring to me your health and might. You guys may be somebody that's quite high maintenance, and I don't mean high maintenance in the sense of, let me buy a Louis Vuitton bag and a Cartier watch. You could, that's fine too, but I feel it in the sense of like, I'm nourishing my body, I care about my body, or I care about maybe the way I present myself, or I always look good, and maybe it's just something effortless, but it comes to you, where people, it's almost like you look healthy, you look like, again, it's like I'm whatever it is, and it could just be one specific thing that you do where people feel inspired by it, because I don't know why I'm being shown writing, so some of you guys may write books, or write stories and things like that, or write music. Whatever it is you apply yourself to, you do it with a perfectionistic style. So it's like you're coming into a class, again, I'm being shown books and writing, you make sure that you've got like all the pens ready and the books ready and everything's where it needs to be and everything looks immaculate. Like, there's something about the way you look or the way you make something look, so it's like you have everything together, and it's like, oh, that's inspiring. You know, like when you watch TikToks and it's like, get ready with me, and then they have all of the stuff in cute little jars and stuff, and it's like, oh, that looks very put together and beautiful. I feel like you have an essence of that aesthetically, but I don't mean like, you know, you have all of your cereals in boxes and everything's put together in a pantry or something. I mean like whatever it is you apply yourself to, like in the gym, you may make sure you have like certain fits, or you may really, you know, work out really hard and make sure you're doing everything right. Again, I'm being shown somebody ordering food, and it's like, even the food that you've just ordered not only looks and smells good, but like, you're making me want that now. It's just the way, I don't know, there's just a way of doing things, you make things look really good. I just think you have an eye for like art. You may have a lot of Libra or Taurus in your chart, but I think that you just have a way of effortlessly doing it at the same time, which is quite cute. Yeah, so Palamon, that is what I have for you. That's what makes you stand out. I really hope that you enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it resonated. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what is it about you that stands out. So you guys chose the selenite crystal. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we will move on to your oracle card. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. As I tap in, I'm being shown like a lake and a waterfall at the end, and then I'm being shown like little rocks so I can jump through the lake. So it's like to get to you and your energy, it's like I'm jumping over these little stones. I'm sure they had that in the labyrinth. I think it was like rocks with mud, but either way, it's like I'm jumping over the stones to get to, it's almost like I'm following you. It's almost like you're some sort of elf or fairy and I'm just kind of following you. And I think that's part of what stands out about you. There's something very mystical about you and like enchanted, and like I feel bewildered. That's the word I want to use. Bewildered. I don't even think I remember what that word means too much. Without sounding a bit silly, but that's the word coming through. It's like, what's going on here? It's like a question mark I'm being shown. And I'm being shown like a little fairy or like gnome or like little tree nymph. And they're jumping over the stones. And it's like, I need to follow this person. I want to see where they're going. It's like in the live action Alice movie. And she sees the rabbit and he's like running through the maze. I think it's a maze. And she's like chasing him. Like, I feel like people feel like they're Alice chasing you. Like, what's going on? I need to know more. Where's the rabbit going and why are they in a rush? Like, when you fall asleep, where do you go vibes? Like, that's kind of where I'm being taken. And then I'm literally feel like I'm drifting through a cloud, and then I'm being shown a mirror, and it's like I'm wiping the mirror to get a better view, because it's like and to take it to Doctor Who then, because you know guys, I love Doctor Who. Whenever because basically, to explain if you've never watched Doctor Who, the spaceship that they're in, it's bigger on the inside. On the outside, it just looks like a little blue square box, like a phone box. But when you go in, it's massive inside. It's bigger. And when everybody would like step inside this ship, it's called a TARDIS. When anyone would step inside, their mind would like be blown, because it's like, how is it bigger on the inside? So they'd always, in every scene, they'd jump out of the box and they'd like run around it to see what the hell is going on, because like, how is it, you know, so bigger on the inside? And they'd be in disbelief, and there's this feeling. That's what I'm being shown to kind of describe you. And I don't know why, I almost want to laugh a little bit. I don't know. Let's get in. Pile number, because there's this feeling of like, what stands out about my pile number 2 is I don't know, they just do. Like, I don't know, they just do. There's like a question mark on your forehead. It's like, what's going on? What do we have? We have the 4 of Wands, which is the 4 of Vibes. Went viral, manifesting results. You may connect with spirit. You may work with spirit. You may have a job working with spirit, because especially with manifesting results, a lot of the times when people work with spirit and they connect with spirit and they manifest, or they align with something, or they do any sort of work, you know, spiritual work, you always get people trying to find the loophole. You always, because people kind of have this idea of it like it's fake, you know, and that's fine if that's not where their mind takes them, but you see a lot of people try and catch things out. It's like the magician with the rabbit. It's like, where was he hiding the rabbit? And there's a feeling of that. So it's almost like there's a catch. There must be a catch, honestly. Like, there has to be a catch, you know. Maybe you were someone that was at one point super quiet and then you got super confident. It's like, there must be a catch, but maybe you just did a lot of healing and a lot of inner work. You know what I mean? There's feelings of that. It's like, I want to know more. I'm curious, but then I'm also nervous. Do you see how I'm talking in circles? Because I feel like people have a hard time explaining you. I think you're that pile that I referenced, and it's like, who was it that I was referencing? Like Gandalf and like Dumbledore, and it's like, this person's here, now they're not, now you see me, now you don't. It's kind of that vibe that I pick up. We have Judgment as well, quarter life crisis, a brand new outlook, and I love they've got the maze there, looks like a labyrinth. See, a brand new outlook. Pile number, I don't know why, but Spirit just showed me, I don't know if you've ever watched Ted, but Ted's like a talking bear, and in the first scene of the first movie, when people realize that Ted can like speak, he just says like hi or whatever, and like all of the adults are like, I'm like screaming, because it's like, they're petrified of this talking bear, like how is this happening? I feel like that's maybe a bit of an energy sometimes. I remember my ex, because in my house sometimes you can hear movement downstairs. I used to be able to hear running up and down the hallway, and I was just used to it growing up, and I used to just say like, oh, it's just energies around, like it's probably like a spirit of a little girl running around the house, like that's probably what it is. I'll have to energetically see about it soon, but that's kind of what it is. And my ex would be like so petrified. He's like, make it stop, you know, the lights would like flicker, and he'd be like, make it stop. And you know, if he'd see my pendulum, he'd be like, put it away, I don't like it. So I feel like you might get that vibe, and I think that might be what stands out, because there's this feeling of like they can read me. They can read, it's like I'm sweating inside. It's like they can read me. They know that I stole a packet of Skittles when I was 9, and they know it, and they're coming for me. Like there's a feeling of that, but there's just this feeling of like they know how to do this or they know how to do that, and I don't know whether I believe in it. But then also, what if they do something on me? I don't know, it's that sort of vibe. Like there's just a lot of silly then projections around you, and I think that there's a lot of projection then when people can't quite understand. But I see people almost sweating, or they can read my body language. They know that I'm uncomfortable. Let me try and act confident. What is the way to put my body language in a way where I appear confident to this person? Because they'll know. Like, you may be into like psychology as well, because I feel like you might be good at reading body language very well. I feel people go into themselves with you. Like I'm questioning everything. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. What stands out about my pile number 2s? I'm trying to wipe my cat hairs off the table because they've been chilling on this while I've been away. 2 of Thoughts. I can't pick this up at all. 2 of Thoughts. To be honest, I don't know. Making a choice. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. Like, I feel like you bewilder people. It's like, where do you go? Like, when you're on your own, what do you do? Because I feel like you go through a lot of, I guess people could say glow ups, but I feel like you just evolve a lot. And I feel like blink and you miss it. I feel like you're that sort of energy. So it's like, you were down and out, but now I see you and you're right on top. And you just were the last in the line, and now you're number 1 in the line. And it's almost like, like in Harry Potter, when Hermione has the watch, and Hermione has this watch in Harry Potter where she can move through time. And one minute she's not there, the next minute she's there. And to Ron and Harry at the beginning of the movie, they don't know she has this watch. So it's like, I swear you just weren't here. And she's like, I was here the whole time. So you have that sort of vibe where it's like, and I think with people maybe knowing that you may be connected to spirit, and people knowing certain things that you may do in that aspect, it amplifies it. You know what I mean? It amplifies it a lot. But I do feel like you have a blink and you miss it energy where you shift a lot. You may alchemize a lot, you may purge a lot, remove, you know, a lot of energies, alchemize it, come back brand new, and people are like, since when? You know? Since when did this happen? And I think your opinions shift and change because you evolve. You know, you may be somebody that's like, I hate marriage, don't want marriage, and people are like, oh, okay. And then the next time they see you, it's like, no, I love marriage, I'm so open to that. And they're like, what? But in that time period, you may have purged out a wound that made you hate marriage, and now you love it. Now you love the idea of love. Now you love the idea of commitment. And they're like, what? Like, who are you? Like, are you even the same person? And it's constant. I feel like, again, with manifesting results, it's like you're constantly, now you see me, now you don't, now I'm left, now I'm right, now I'm up, now I'm down. And I think that's what stands out about you, because it's like you never know. And that's why we have to be honest, I don't know. With one sign going that way, one sign going that way, because it's like, I don't know. I don't know who they are. And that's why I'm through the clouds. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know. I feel confused. A brand new outlook, quarter life crisis. And it's like you're just dancing through the labyrinth, dancing through the maze, which is of life. And then they try and follow you and they get lost. and they don't know where they are, and they're like, what? And they can hear you still singing and dancing through, and they're like, how do they do this? So I feel like anytime people try and mimic you, they get very stuck or lost. If you've ever had people that have tried to copy you, mimic you, I feel like they confuse themselves, because it's like, you just, it's not for you in that way. Like, follow your own rhythm, because if you follow mine, you're going to get lost in the clouds. You're going to get really confused. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I would say to anyone that's trying to mimic you, because I feel like even when people do try to like mimic and copy an energy of you, you were already in the process of peeling that layer while they were buying all the tools. And by the time they've bought the tools and tried to stand in that energy, that skin's 5 layers in the past. You've been about 5 different people since then, constantly evolving like that. And it's like, oh, like I can't keep up, which may frustrate people. That may frustrate people. Constantly evolving. I think it's so interesting, because it's like, this is my final form. No, this is my final form. This is my final form. Like, that's how it kind of is coming through. And I think that stands out about you, because it's like, you can't be tamed. Miley Cyrus can't be tamed, but I also feel like you can't be defined at all. You just can't. Pile number 2. What makes my pile number 2 stand out? What makes my pile number 2s stand out? Sorry if I have trouble explaining it. And I think it's you guys' pile, so you've probably heard me say it. But when I do these readings, I'm not reading you from my perspective. I'm reading you from other people's perspective. So if other people are going to be feeling a bit confused, I'm tapping into them. So I'm going to be in that confused energy. From my perspective, what I'm seeing is that you are very multidimensional. I feel like you move through the rhythm of energy more than what's physically here, and I feel like you are able to form into versions of you that are required in that moment. And I think that through forming yourself and solidifying yourself into versions that you are required to be in that moment, allow you to peel even deeper layers of yourself to find newer versions of you that catapult you forward. I'd explain you like that. I feel like you're very sensitive to energy, and I feel like you're not too attached to ego or what you should be, which is why you're constantly evolving, because everything you pick up you learn from, which is why you're constantly evolving. And I think that you see a lot of depths, which is why you see a lot of depths within yourself, which is why you're able to see depths within other people, which is probably why people feel a little bit shifty, because you're able to pick it up. But I also feel like because of that, sometimes people don't see you clearly, because they might not have met them depths within themselves, so that might not be able to see it in you. And that's where I'm then taken to kind of smudge a mirror to look clearer. And I feel like a lot of people will, in the 3D, put themselves in a box to, I'm a girly girl, I'm a masculine, I'm an alpha male, I'm a, what do they call people? Like, I'm just thinking of trans now. I'm a soft person, like, I'm a soft person, I'm a this person, I'm a that person. And it's like, we're labeling to put ourselves in a box to find who we are, whereas you're like, I'm constantly evolving, so I'm always going to be somebody else, and I'm not in a box. So it's like, that's where people then get that confusion. And I think that the reason we were taken through the clouds with your energy is because when you think of air and mist, it's an energy that hasn't solidified yet. And I think that you're constantly solidifying and going back to mist, solidifying and going back to mist, and learning about yourself, which is really interesting. I think you're on a path of maybe enlightenment, or just finding yourself, like a journey home, a journey inward. And to do that, you have to dismantle yourself a lot to move things around and find new pieces of yourself. And I think that's how I'd explain you. But we're looking at energy from other people. So that's my explanation of you. We could go deeper, but that's not what we're here for. We then have strength, DIY skills, honing the tools. There's a because again, if we're gonna take it to the Dumbledore Gandalf energy, it's like you give off wise elder, you give off that, Pinocchio, when the fairy comes through and she sings and she's all beautiful, it's like you give off that energy, you give off a Dumbledore energy, you give off a guide, like a spirit guide, you give off it's almost like I feel protected when I'm with you. That's kind of how I'm feeling. But I also feel like you see, it's like for you to protect me, you need to see all of me, and that may be daunting, you know? And I think that you can be very liberating to people that are open to evolving, but you can also be terrifying to people that want to hide pieces of themselves and stay where they are. And I think that's the contrast, and I think that's what sticks out about you, because it's like, I'm either triggered or I'm really excited to kind of go deep, you know, which is really, really interesting. But I feel like to look at you, I feel like I would be like, this person has a lot of knowledge. And I think that's what stands out about you. This person knows what they're doing. This person has a lot of knowledge. This person has a lot of wisdom. This person sees a lot. How did this person pick up that? There's like a level of psychology you have here. I think you're quite airy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There's a feeling of that. I would also be taken to the 8th house, so some Plutonian Scorpio energy as well, which is really interesting, and Pisces too, I would say. And I think that it's hard to define you, because I think that you go around the merry-go-round, you connect to the physical life in a very deep way, but then you also unsolidify yourself from that and look at things from an elevated way, but then you also are able to touch deep into the emotions. And it's like you master, you feel like you've mastered certain energies. Like your energy's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears, sort of thing. It's really interesting. That's what I'm getting with that. What have we got at the back of the deck? We've got the World, actually. Boozy brunch, abundant success. You may as well have bumped into people or aligned with people when they were really going through things, and I feel like you may have brought guidance or brought a bit of a helping hand, because I feel like I'm coming out of a relationship or I'm going through something, and it's like all of a sudden I'm aligning with you and you're able to really see me, and I feel like I'm going through a tower moment, but like you're not judging it, and you're also able to give guidance, and it's like you see parts of me and you pull out parts of me that maybe I'm struggling with behind closed doors. I feel like you do that for people. That's people that get closer to you though. And it's like you're always on an adventure, because the World, we're looking at a closing of something. We're ending a cycle and we're beginning anew. And a lot of people are scared of the new because they don't want to let go of what they have. They don't want to let go of comfort. Whereas there's something that you have where you're very comfortable in uncomfortability. And it's like people may vent to you and be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this job. And it's like, oh, well, quit your whole job then. Or, oh, let's just go travel then. Or let's go and do this. Let's get to work on your subconscious mind then. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, you know? And it's like you can't drift into the air and drift into the clouds if you are still holding on to your anchor. You know, we can sit in a plane here all day, but we have to let go of the land to get into the clouds. We can't stay here on this land, you know? We can't keep our feet on the ground on this swing and dream about what it would be like to swing on it. We have to let go and trust and swing. And I feel like you have that very spirit guide essence where you kind of help people like trust in that, you know? Or people just run away because they're scared. But even when people may run away, because it could be even in connections where you're ready to jump deep with someone, or even in a friendship where you're ready to go deeper with someone and people may run away, I feel like they look back to you then like, what if? Because it's like, what if I would have? What if I would have traveled with that person? What if I would have got in a relationship with that person? What if I would have stayed friends with that person? What if I would have evolved with that person? Where would I be now? What would my life be like? And I feel like that's what people think of you as well, because it's like, what would I have been like? You know? Because you're constantly jumping and elevating. If you watched my pile the other day, I was saying there was a pile in an energy where they were shifting timelines. So they were like, I was being shown doodle jump. If you've ever seen that game, it's like a little doodle and he just jumps up onto different, they're just lines really. He just jumps up onto different, let's just say little pathways. And that's the kind of point of the game. You just have him jump up and make sure he doesn't fall. And I feel like people may look at you like that, like doodle jumping, you're constantly elevating. It's like, oh, they're gone now. Blink and you miss it, you know? That's kind of the vibe that you have. Pile number 2, what stands out about my pile number twos? What is it about my pile number twos that stands out? There's something about how you look that's unique and that stands out. Like there's a particular feature. It's more on the face I'm being taken to. So you may have like a beauty mark. You may have a very prominent chin or a very prominent jawline. You may have very prominent teeth, lips, nose, eyes. You may have a very high forehead. And again, it could be your hair. But there's something about like your face where it's like it's distinct and it's you. I know you through that. It's like a distinct. And it could just be your eyes. You may have very intense eyes, very dull eyes, very big eyes. But it's gentle at the same time. And it's distinct. It's really quite interesting. So we have inspiration. Isis, goddess of magic. I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. Pile number 2, please. Spirit guides. Destiny. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. And then we have beauty. I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within me to shine. What I got with this card in the middle, again, Harry Potter reference, because again, there's something very mystical here about you. When Harry was trying to find the Horcruxes in Harry Potter, he doesn't know what he's looking for. They're just objects. And he speaks to one of the ghosts in the castle, which is called Rowena Ravenclaw, I think. Rowena, I think that's her name, Ravenna. And he asks her for advice on how to find this diadem. And he's in desperate need of it because the castle's about to be taken over by all the bad people. And the advice she gives him, she says, if you ask, you'll never know. But if you know, you need only ask. And for some reason, his brain ticks, he gets it and he goes looking for it. Now, if somebody said that to me, I would be more confused than before I asked. But the way she says it, it's so poetic, it makes your mind tick. And I feel like you may be one of those people that just has wisdom where it's like, you might not get it at first. It's a thinker. You've got to really think about it. And I think you have people's mind tick in that way. If I had to describe you though, I feel like you'd be, if you love Harry Potter, you'd be like Luna. I feel like you're like Luna Lovegood. And people can project onto Luna and be like, oh, she's silly and quite childlike. She's actually pretty intelligent and a really intelligent witch and really sweet and kind of got a lot of wisdom up there, you know? So I feel like you kind of remind me of that energy too. Because I feel like sometimes people may project onto you in different ways. For whatever they, you know, if they're feeling triggered, they may project a certain idea of who you are, which may not be the nicest, but then you may get people that project and romanticize you. And you're like, I'm all of it, but I'm also none of it, you know? And it's like, again, it's that riddle then that comes through, which is quite interesting. I think you're a very big observer in this lifetime. You're on a bit of an inner journey. It's quite interesting. So with inspiration, goddess of magic, I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. It's like I'm asking you advice and you're taking me down the rabbit hole. And it's more than I bargained for. I asked for an answer, or I asked you something. You just turned around, ran into the labyrinth, ran into the maze, and now I'm chasing you through the maze. But that's how I get my answer. And I can either get frightened and run back, reject the offer to run into the maze at all, or I can join you and see where you take me with it. But I have to have an open mind for it. And the more open my mind is, the more I'm going to get it and I'm going to get you. But if my mind's closed and I'm going to run away out of fear, I'm just going to have to project and kind of wonder. There is a cat here. Who have we got? Who's here? Veda! Hi, handsome! Veda has not left me alone, guys, since I came home. He has not left me be. I think he thinks I'm going to leave again, so he just is constantly with me. But yeah, I feel like the more open people's minds are, the more they're going to see you. And I think you plant seeds to have people's minds opened later on down the line, which is really interesting. That's what I'm getting with this card. And I love how I said that I was picking up that energy, and then Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter came through and she's laying on the moon, which is quite interesting because she says, all that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. So it's like that poem that that Ravenclaw lady said that has the mind kind of tick, which is quite interesting. I'm here, baby boy. I'm here. You're giving me kisses. Thank you so much. I love you too. And then you have beauty. I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within me to shine. I'm hearing with that, you age like fine wine. That's what I'm getting here. You're constantly evolving and getting better at something, honing a craft, building upon something. One minute I see you and you're working on your fitness. The next minute I see you and you're working on, and I'm just talking about physical now. Like the next minute I see you and you've changed your makeup and it suits you really well. And the next minute I see you and your hair's, you know, really long or really short or whatever way suits you. Like you're constantly evolving like that. It's like, oh, they got better at that. They got better at that. You know? And yes, I can see, say hi everyone, this is Veda, guys. And yes, I can see that it happens in regards to just you evolving spiritually, but I feel like on the outside, people only see the physical shift sometimes, or just the way that you present yourself sometimes, you know? You just want loves, guys. On the back of the deck, you had true love come to me. True love shall come to me as I do will, so mote it be. I feel like the people that you have in your life, you see as an extension of you. And I think people have seen people evolve when they're around you. I think people have seen maybe friends that you have, siblings that you have, they've seen the benefits of being around you. And it's like, oh, I wish I didn't run away from that labyrinth now. I wish I would have gone in that labyrinth because that person did. And look, you know? Lots of question marks and wondering about you. Pal 2. You want to come up on my lap? He is so clingy with me at the moment, Veda is, guys. He's got his paws up on my lap trying to get up. So pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what is it about you actually? That's what we're taking a look at. What is it about you that stands out? So you guys chose the green crystal, the green calcite. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. Veda is here. He'll probably be here for the duration. He's very needy. I think he thinks I'm going to leave again. So he's been sleeping with me. He's been sitting under my chair while I film. He's been having kisses. Very needy today. So you're going to be seeing quite a little bit of him. But yeah, let's get into your reading. So you guys chose the green calcite. Let's get in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. What is it about my pile number 3s that stands out? What is it about my pile? Your voice is very distinct. I'm being told you could have a very high-pitched voice. You could have a very raspy voice. You could have a particular accent that sticks out. You could just have a very soothing, very melodic voice. You know, you might kind of, you know when you hear people speak and it's almost like they're singing? You may have a voice like that. You could also sing, literally. There's something about that, the way that you speak, or your just demeanor and the way that you talk. You may have Mercury in a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. My voice is going a little bit deep. I don't know why. So maybe you guys have a more raspier voice, a deeper voice, a silky voice. There's just something that stands out about you, I'm being told. Pile number... Somebody here may look like anime. I don't know why I'm being shown anime. Pile number 3. What is it that stands out about my pile number 3s? Knight of Fields, ally. Standing up and fighting. Pile number 3. What is it that stands out about my pile 3s? 7 of Fields, thirst trap, stepping out of the comfort zone. You may be my water pile. Lots of water here. 2 lots of cups. Pile number 3. What is it about my pile number 3s that stands out? Oh my god, look at all these cups. King of Fields. Stay-at-home dad. Mastering masculine energy. Pile number 3. What is it about my pile number 3s that stands out? And the Knight of Vibes, a life coach standing up and fighting. Move your tail a minute, baby. Thank you. And the back of the deck we have the Four of Fields. Look at all these cups. This is my water pile. Four of Fields, binge watching, manifesting results. Got Cancer energy there. And I love how we have all three water signs coming out. We got Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Love that. Love that indeed. Okay, pile number 3. What is it about my pile number 3 that stands out? What's the word? Oh my god, I've forgotten the term. People underestimate you, and you blow everything out of the park. This is what I mean. You come across sweet. You come across caring. You come across gentle. That's a word that I'm getting, gentle. You may have a very soft demeanor or a very cute demeanor. I don't know why I'm being taken to, who's that little cartoon girl? Strawberry Shortcake? Is that the girl? The ginger hair, all in pink. I'm sure there was a cartoon called Strawberry Shortcake. Anyway, doesn't matter what gender you are, you just come across lovable. You come across sweet. I almost look at you and I think Care Bear. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's the little things that I'm getting, because I feel like that's what people project onto you. Now, you could have a very soft demeanor, a very gentle demeanor, a very cute demeanor. You may dress very cute. You may dress in maybe very feminine energies that people would associate with that. You know, even when I think of like anime and I think of like little cartoons, they're cute, right? And I feel like you may have that demeanor. It's just the way maybe you look at life, and that's maybe your aura and your energy. So a lot of people may project onto you like, oh, they're cute, they're sweet, they're this, they're that. But it's like, you're so much more than that. And I think that people underestimate you sometimes until you pop out and are like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything that you couldn't see because you were putting me in a box. I feel like that happens a lot. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I keep being shown a little crab. And somebody looking at this crab and going, oh my god, look at this crab, it's so cute. And putting it in a little tank and poking it and poking it. And one day the crab turns around and is like, stop poking me, and pinches, you know, with its claws, the person that keeps poking it, because why are you poking me? I didn't ask you to. And then all of a sudden that person's like, oh my god, bad crab, and like running away, like that hurt. And it's like, well, don't poke me then, you know? And I feel like you'll get people sometimes that may project onto you like, oh, this person's sweet, this person's lovable. But you have emotions. You may have darker emotions. You may have, you know, more masculine energy within. You may be a proper fighter. You're somebody that's, because I do see that. I feel like you're a fighter. I feel like you're somebody that's been through a lot. And maybe the reason you're so gentle is because you went through a lot. And I feel like there's something about your demeanor that comes across so gentle that people, they sometimes might not see deeply into the shell and how you became what you are. So there's a lot of like, oh, cute, sweet, but sometimes people don't see you. And I think what stands out about you is the way that you reverse Uno. That's what stands out about you. Anytime someone's projected onto you, you've been the opposite. And you haven't taken the initiative to show them or tell them, I'm not like that, I'm like this. You just do it. You know what I mean? Like, you may have somebody project onto you like, oh, they're a little bit ditzy. They don't know how to, you know, they're not, they don't know how to, let me think of something. They don't know how to make money like that. All the while, you have a side business where you're doing your own taxes and your own work and you got your own job going on that they don't even know about because they would just project and they didn't see it. And then all of a sudden it's like, that's blowing up. You're making really good money. And they're like, whoa, where did that come from? It's like, don't underestimate me. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh, right, okay. It's like cats. When you look at a cat and it's cute and it's fluffy and it's sweet. Like my little Vedi. But it's like, you mishandle a cat, they're going to scratch you. They're going to bring out the claws. And I feel like a lot of the times your claws are you doing better, you showing. Because I'm hearing Justin Bieber's song, I'll Show You. It's like, oh, you want to project that onto me? Look at me now. You know what I mean? Look at me now. You, I'm trying to think of like ideas. Because what stands out about you is the way you're like, oh, you thought I was this. I'm actually like this. Oh, you thought this? I'm actually like that. I'm trying to think of an idea. Like, I remember when I didn't drive and my friends would like kind of put me down for that, and we went quad biking. And I used to quad bike when I was young. I'm really good at quad biking. Back when my dad was still in my life, I used to do it all the time with my dad. And they didn't know this. They never asked. So when we were going quad biking, they were like, oh, Lex, like, you'll be okay. And I'm like, I didn't ask for your reassurance. I don't need it. I'm really good at it. When we got there, they didn't know what they were doing. I was very, very good at it, might I add, because I knew how to do it. And I didn't bother saying, oh, I used to do it with my dad, I'm really good. I thought, no, you'll just see. You'll just see. And I feel like you're like that in deep ways. Like, I feel like you're like that in any kind of way. Like, you may have people approach you in regards to relationships and think, oh, this person's quite gentle. They're not going to be able to see past my BS. You call them out the minute of. You're like, I saw that. I saw that. You thought I didn't see that. I saw that. I was aware of that. And I think that's what stands out about you, because it's like, oh, touche. I didn't think you were like that. And then it's a curiosity of like, I want to get to know more now. Because I think that you do have people's minds tick. It's like you flip things. It's like you think I'm this way. And there's an aspect of me. But if you're only looking at it through that lens, no. And you flip it back, and that's what stands out about you. It's quite interesting. It's like I'm running in a race and you're behind me, and the person to my right I'm looking at as competition, because the person to my right, they've got these really big muscles, really long sturdy legs, and they're obviously going to win, and that's my competition. So I'm running in this race with this person, trying to compete with this person, but my eye's on this person to the right, whereas you're behind me, and let's just say, for the sake of the analogy, you've got maybe smaller legs, and you don't look like you have the best shot at it, but my mind's on this other person because I think that they're competition, and I'm running, and I'm out of breath, and then all I can see in the distance is this person speeding really fast, and that's you. Because you were trained at this, and you were counted out, and you got that trophy. And that's then where you're standing out, because it's like, I wouldn't have expected that, You could be somebody that dresses very like grungy and very hard, has loads of like tattoos, but then it's like, you're actually, a lot of people put projections onto that, because people like to project, where in actuality, you're very lovable, very sweet. What you doing, Vedi? Very lovable, very sweet. Very caring, very soft, very gentle. You just like to dress in a different way or present yourself in a different way. Although I do feel there's something about the way that you present as watery, mermaidy, cute, sweet. Again, it could just be your energy. There's a lot of like projections. A lot. And I do feel like sometimes you'll get quite misunderstood, to where you may even see people throw their toy out the pram, or I can't even speak, toy out of the like stroller, because it's like, I thought you were like this, you didn't tell me you were doing that, oh, that's sly. And it's not that you're sly, it's like you want to project onto me, that's fine, but I'm not like that. But I'll let you keep your projections, I'm just going to do something completely different. You know what I mean? And I think that has actually protected you a lot. People maybe, and I don't think you've realized it, because I feel like at times you've seen it as a curse, whereas I'm actually here to say I feel like it's protected you. Because you may be from my pile the other day where I was talking about a bubble. I was being shown the collective in a bubble, and it was like, you were reminding me of a cat, and it's like, I'll move when I want to move. I'm in my own energy. I don't need to think for your, fight for your approval. When I feel comfortable around you, then I'll open up. You may be one of those people. So again, people could project on you like you're shy, but you actually have a very loud personality. But it's like, people may have been coming towards you, thinking maybe they can get one over on you, or not having the best intentions, and that what projected, shy personality that people are projecting onto, that saved you from people kind of taking advantage of you or taking some of your energy. So I feel like it's actually protected you in ways, in a lot of ways, to be honest with you, because I think naturally at your essence you're actually very fiery. I feel like you're quite loud and very strong, and very there's like a leadership energy, there's a fighting energy, it's like we have standing up and fighting. It's like you're actually somebody that can be very ferocious. You're actually somebody that can be very like, you've got stamina is what I'm trying to say. But I feel like through the water, I feel like people may have a completely different projection, and it's what they view life as, because water reflects. So it's like you've got this fire energy in the middle, but it's water all around you. So then it's like people are projecting and not fully seeing you, or thinking, oh, cute. But there's more to you than that. And that's where sometimes people may then get confused. What is it that stands out about my pile number 3s? Because I'm finding it hard to put things into words, but the reason I'm finding it hard to put things into words is because I'm tapping into other people's energy, and I feel like people then get confused, because I feel like people learn the lesson very quickly. Don't project onto this person, because you're going to end up looking stupid. And I think people have learned that, and I feel like you've had to pinch some people with them claws, where they're like, okay, I'm just going to watch now, I'm just going to view now. You know, oh, they're sly, let me look at what they're up to. I feel like you get that sometimes. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I feel like you've had that. But then other people, it's like in awe. It's like, oh my God, what are they up to? What do they do? What are they up to? Where do they get that idea from? When did they start doing that? I didn't think that they were like that, you know? And it's almost like people, the more you may shine that fire energy out, and I feel like as you go through life, that fire becomes more brighter. And you don't feel the need for the shell all too much. I feel like that's where people, it's almost like, oh my God, and it's like they're seeing new versions of you. So to them it's new, to them you've evolved, but in actuality, yeah, maybe you've evolved in clear in this layer, but that was you always. Like, I see people like, oh my God, I didn't know you started doing that. And you're like, started? I was doing that this whole time. I didn't know that you were singing and you were making music. I've been doing that since I was like 5. You know what I mean? I didn't know you were a kickboxer. I didn't see that in you. I've been doing that since I was young. Like, and that's when people start to see more of you. And I think the deeper people get with you, the closer people get to you. It's like, I didn't know you had this side to you. I didn't know you were like that. I didn't know you were kind of like that. And it's like they're seeing deeper, if that makes sense. So I am finding it hard to tap into other people's, what makes you stand out to other people, because I feel like there's such a watery shell around you that I'm just like, oh, cute, oh my God, they're so cute. And it's like, when I'm looking at you, because I'm looking at you from a bird's eye view through my own eyes, it's like, that person's really strong, very, like, this is how I'm looking at you now, very funny, very strong, very wise. Your brain ticks. Like, when it's happening to you guys, your brain ticks. You see things deep. You pick up on things that people do not think you pick up on, which is so interesting. Like, you're literally viewing people and you're picking up on things, and people are letting things slip around you because they don't think you can see. But you can really see what they're saying, what they're not saying, what they're doing, what they're not doing. You can see people projecting onto you. You can see the insecurity that it's coming from, because you're seeing deeper than they could even fathom that you can really see, if that makes sense. Like, you can go right deep in. Someone's saying something to you and they think they're just putting you down and you're feeling bad about it, where in actuality it's bouncing off you. You can see where it's coming from, and you're like, I'm sorry that your parent treated you like that as a child, and I can see you're projecting that onto me. I'm not going to take it on though, but you can think that if you want. And I just see you like that, where someone's like, oh, cute, they're not going to see I'm doing that, and you're like, no, I see you. I see you. I see it all. You know what I mean? And then I see someone poking you, like, do it again, I will claw. Do it again and I will get these claws out and I'll pinch you. Go on, do it. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not expected from you, because there's something about your demeanor that's so watery and lovely, because and that is a part of you. You are watery and you are lovely, but that's not all. The gentlest people have had to walk through fire to become that gentle. You can go through the worst experiences and have a choice to allow those experiences to make you as dark as what they were, or to have you elevate and become gentle and become kind. They can harden you, but you can still hold on to that gentleness and that loveliness. You've chosen to still walk like that. But because you've chosen to hold on to that light and hold on to that love, you've chosen to be gentle. I feel like that's where people think that's all there is and try to take advantage, not knowing that to become that gentle, you had to go through hell. And that side's still there. You still have a shadow self. You still have these sides of you. You had to fight your way into the light. And a lot of people will project and not think that, oh, there's just this little cute crab walking around. That cute crab has been at the bottom of the sea, and the ocean's been, you know, whacking at it, and it stayed sturdy and it stayed strong. And it's endured it. And the harshest predators, the sharks and everything, were, you know, trying to swoop at it. And it stayed alive, and it's still here. So now it's made its way onto the sand and onto the land, and there's just an annoying person poking at it. And you think you're getting one over on them. All the while, to get here, they had to be at the bottom of the ocean in the dark with sharks trying to get at it. So now what? You know? And that's how I'm looking at you. Because I feel like you're a fighter. I feel like you've got so much fight in you. And not in the way of like angry, just in a way of like warrior energy. I don't know why I'm being shown Daenerys from Game of Thrones. Still haven't watched that, by the way. But I'm being shown her. Like there's a fire in you. And it's like people underestimate you, and you don't care. It's like, I don't care to tell you I'm the greatest at this. I don't care to tell you that I'm, you know, I got a black belt in this, and I don't care to tell you that I have this much money, or I do this, or I'm aware of this. I'll just let you project, and we'll go from there. Really interesting. Because what stands out about you is how you always, because I feel like it always happens, you're always one step ahead because people underestimate you. Interesting. And that's first impression. Because there's people then that you get close to, and those people, it's like, because it's like I'm going into the shell with you, or I'm going deep into the ocean with you, and you're walking these oceans like you own them. And I'm walking through the ocean, and you're stood there like sturdy, and the sharks are afraid of us as we're walking through this ocean, and the dolphins are like coming to greet us, and you know everything, and there's all of this wisdom, and it's like, this person's like, I feel like the people that get closer to you, like, this person's a badass. Like, people hear your stories or see things that you're up to, or like the way that you just move in your everyday life and the things you get up to, and it's like, oh my god, this person's so interesting. Who would have thought? Who would have thought this? Like, I wouldn't have thought that they were really good at that, or they were really good at that, or they were good. There's so many, I feel like you're good at physical things. Like, there's things that you're good at. Or you may have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. You could be able to read tarot, but then you could also be an expert at psychology, but then you could also be great with plants, and then you could also be really good at motorbikes. And it's like so random, but you're good at all of these things. It's like you've got a lot of belts. I keep being shown like karate, and you have like the different color belts, and it's like someone walks into your home and you have them all lined up on the wall. It's like, oh yeah, I've aced that, done that, and I've aced football too, and I aced the dancing too. It's like, this person's so cool. Why did I just project that? Oh, they were just sweet and cute. Why did I project that? This person's so interesting and fun. And that's when people get close to you. Very pleasantly surprised. Whereas the people that maybe might have wanted to look at you as competition, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, sniping me with their claws. Oh, sly, they didn't tell me. You know, like, guys, my camera cut out then, but I was saying, like, it's like the hair and the tortoise, you know, and the hair being like cheeky little tortoise, sly little tortoise, acting all slow, and it wins. Had all those tricks up its sleeve, you know what I mean? And it's like, while everybody's so rushing around trying to be the hare and projecting, I'm a better hare than you, I'm a better hare than you, you're just stood there like a tortoise, like, okay, I'm just going to move at my own pace, and I'm just going to let them have their little ego battles, and they can project onto me if they like, and I'm just going to keep moving. And all the other little turtles and tortoises, they're going to be waving at me because they see me and I see them, and then I'm going to win, you know what I mean? And I'm not even going to tell people I'm going to win, I'm just going to win. And then I'm gonna have a party with all my turtles, no hares allowed, sorry, you know. And then the hares are like, damn it, like, that's kind of what I'm getting from you guys, because there are other people like you. Obviously there's a lot of you watching this, and I think those are your people that move like that. Yeah, I think that you teach people as well, like, humility. You could be somebody that started from nothing and turned it into something. Because again, it's almost like I'm looking at where you're at, and it's like, I'm not seeing you as a threat right now, But then it's like, and this is why it keeps you safe. It keeps you safe from people seeing you as a threat and trying to tear you down. It keeps you safe so that you can just get on with things in peace and get to that finish line in peace. Because to you, it wasn't really a competition. You were just doing your thing. But if people really saw that you were competition in the first place, they might try and attack while you're busy. So it's like it keeps you safe so that you can get on with what you're doing, so that when the time is right, then you can pop up. And then they're like, whoa, where did that come from? But they don't have time to attack it then. They don't have time to try and pull you back and see you as competition then, because you've already popped out. You've already done it. You've already got the trophy. What are you going to do now? That is what stands out about you. You are smart. That's what stands out about you, how smart you are. And you don't need to tell people you are. Pile number, you may have a lot of Scorpio placements. It's just water in general, to be honest with you. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Because a lot of people will look at water signs a lot of the time and be like, oh, that, you know, you look at the projections people put on water signs when they first get into astrology, like, oh, the crybabies, or oh, they're sensitive. Yeah, they're open with their emotions, and yes, they're sensitive, but do you know how strong you have to be to feel deep emotions? A lot of people bury them. You know what I mean? A lot of people bury them and don't want to tap into them. Crybabies, but I'm releasing emotion and I'm not afraid of it. So, you know, it's that sort of thing. Pile number 3. What is it that stands out about my pile number 3? You're a little fighter. You're a fighter. Inspiration. Isis, goddess of magic, I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. I think you're the underdog. That's what stands out about you. You're the underdog. Safe home. I cast this circle round about. Safety now is beyond doubt. Yeah, safety shall. And the thing is, you are kind. You chose the green castle. You move from the heart. You are kind. You are sensitive. You are loving. People are right about that aspect. But one, that's not all there is. And you have a you have a very deep connection to those emotions and that heart space and that innocence within you, because you went down into the roots and down into the darkness first. It's not just this little fluffy heart space. Oh, they're cute, love it. No, it's way deeper than that. And you know this. Because I feel like you'll give people the benefit of the doubt and you'll listen to them, and people think, oh, they might be a little bit of a pushover, they may be a little bit too sweet, and it's like, that's when they'll get the claws. Because it's like, you're very kind and sweet, but it's like, don't take advantage. You remind me of like an elephant, you know what I mean? Gentle giant, like, could wage wars, but it's like, I'm here and I'm moving with peace and love, because that's just me. But don't get it twisted, because I can pop out if I need to. You know what I mean? We also have letting go. Allow the wisdom to remain, but the sting I shall never feel again. See, this is the thing. You've been through a lot. You've been through so many stings, but it's like you've gained wisdom. You've gained wisdom that evolves past the ego. You've gained wisdom that evolves past, you know, seeing things as competition. You've gained wisdom that sees past reacting to people's maybe projections of you. So it's just like, I'm going to move through this. I can see you're maybe projecting onto me. I can see that you're maybe seeing this as competition. I'm not, but I'm just going to move this way. And then because of that, people then project, oh, they're just sweet and they're just drifting, or they're just silent. They don't realize what I'm doing, but you do, because you've gained wisdom. This is child's play to you then. And I think maybe people then may be like, oh, they're shy because you stay in your shell, but you stay in your shell till it's safe to come out. But you're not just sitting in that shell twiddling your thumbs. You're making moves, you know? So that's another thing that I'm getting. And then with inspiration, I feel like your final project, you know, the finishing line, that's then what's inspiring, because it's like, how did you do that? I didn't think you were going to do that. How did you manage to do that? I remember watching WWE years ago, and Nikki Bella, who I'm sure is quite short in stature, she was having a wrestling match with Tamina, and Tamina was a lot taller, a lot sturdier. You know, she was a lot more muscular. And to look at that in a physical perspective, you could think, oh, well, Tamina's going to win because she has so much advantage over Nikki Bella. You know what I mean? She's taller, she's clearly a lot stronger, like, she's obviously going to win this. And I remember thinking, oh, Nikki's not going to win this, Tamina's going to win this. And Nikki ended up, I can't remember the move she did, but she ended up winning over Tamina, and she literally lifted her up. You know what I mean? Like literally lifted Tamina up, and she was a lot smaller, but lifted her up and, you know, slammed her down and won. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so inspiring. And I feel like you're that, you know what I mean? I feel like you have that to you, which is really interesting. And then we have joy. As I do will, so mote it be. Let joy and light radiate from me. And again, you could choose to be a very optimistic person. You could choose to be a very happy person, a very sweet person, and bring out joy and talk about lighter things. But that doesn't mean you haven't gone through things. That doesn't mean that you're not purging behind that shell and behind closed doors. And that's the thing. I think people's own projections are what stop them from really seeing you. And if they are looking at you as competition, that's what has them lose. You get what I mean? And I don't know why the competition thing keeps coming up, but maybe you've had people that have tried to compete with you in that way, or have maybe just counted you out, but it's kept you safe. There's something about that that I'm picking up with you guys. I think it's kept you safe. I don't know why it keeps coming up. I think you've dealt with it a lot. Whether it's just in career or everyday life. And I know this one was a little bit like topsy-turvy and all over the place. It was a little bit hard to look at it from the perspective of others and what stands out about you, because that shell really keeps you hidden until it's time to pop out. And I think every time you pop out, you are very different, or you have a completely different outcome to what people thought you would have. And there's a lot of respect there, but I think sometimes you may get a little bit of like, oh, sly, oh, a little bit of envy. But even below that, there's a bit of respect. It's like, how'd you do that then? How'd you do that then? Interesting, you know? So pile number 3, that is what I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 4, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what stands out about you. So you guys chose the turquoise crystal. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your... I couldn't even speak then. Your oracle cards. I was going to say orange. I don't know if someone's wearing orange or eating an orange, but I just went to say we're going to take a look at your orange. We're not going to be taking a look at your orange, guys. We're going to be taking a look at your oracle cards after tarot. But yeah, let's get in. So pile number 4, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 4, the turquoise pile. What is it about my pile number 4s that stands out? What is it about my pile number 4s that stands out? I think you come across as really cool. Like, I feel like I want to be your friend in the sense of like, oh, you're really cool. You give off like, there's an intensity in regards to your energy. I think that's more to do with quite a very strong crown chakra and third eye. I think that you guys are very intuitive. When I tap into energy, sometimes there's different types of intensities and different types of feels, no matter whether you're tapping into people, guides, deities, you know, whoever you're tapping into. And there's always sometimes beings that come through very intense, almost like I feel a bit scared, but not in the way of like I want to run. It's just they're intense. You know that they're very powerful. And I just think you have a very intuitive, a very strong intuition. I think your third eye is very strong, and I think that because of that, I think maybe you can see people quite deep. And I think that that is something that I think stands out about you, is maybe like an intensity, but there's also this feeling of like, I want to be in your circle, I want you to like me. You may find that people sometimes vie for your attention or vie for your approval, because that's how I almost feel like I'm being put in an energy of other people. Because remember, I'm tapping into other people and what they feel stands out about you, and that's what I'm picking up of straight away. It's like I kind of want to be in your circle. You feel cool to me. You feel like this is the winning team sort of vibe. Like, I don't know, that's just something I'm picking up on. Pile number 4, I'm hearing that song. Who sings it? It's like We'll Go Down in History. I can't remember the name. Centuries. I think it's called Centuries. If I remember, I'll add it as a link in the description box, but it was called like Centuries. And it's like, we'll go down in history. You'll remember me for centuries or something like that. That was the lyrics. I'll if I remember, I'll put it in the description box. I just shared that. Yeah, there's this feeling of like, I'll fight for my own, and I think that's something that stands out about you. Like, if I'm in your circle, I know you've got my back. What stands out about you is your loyalty and the way you'll stick up for people. You'll stand up for people. You'll big people up. Like, you're very like, this is my, it's kind of like a wolf pack. You know what I mean? Like, this is my wolf pack. This is my pack. This is my tribe. This is my pride. Like, don't mess with people in my circle. And maybe your circle's quite small, and that's why I feel like I want to come into that, because it's like, it's a cool place to be, you know? So that's something that's kind of coming through. Pile number 4. What is it about my pile number 4s that stands out? We have strength, DIY skills, honing the tools. What is it about my pile number 4s that stands out? Oh, goodness. Yeah, we have DIY skills, strength, and then we have the Queen of Feels, Mother's Intuition, Master and Feminine Energy. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. What? Oh, hang on, your card fell on the floor. Being shady, 7 of Thoughts, stepping out of the comfort zone. Similar to pile number 3, I think you're somebody that's one step ahead. Quite intelligent. I think that you call people out. You are what I would call an empowered empath, and I think that you are a little bit of a narcissist nightmare. I think that you have no problem calling people out, and I think that you have no problem putting the truth down. Reason being, and I think this is where the intensity comes from as well, you know who you are. You know when you are acting out of your shadow. You know your shadow. You hold hands with your shadow. You know your own darkness. You know your own insecurities. You know your own fears. You know who you are. You know your strengths. You know your weaknesses. So because of that, if anyone was to try and fight and get their way in, they wouldn't be able to. You know your weaknesses. There's a shield there. So I feel like anyone that would try and maybe like gaslight you or take you out of your energy, boom, I know what you're doing. And because you read people, because you're intuitive, the people that are in your circle, the people that are in your little tribe, you also know their weaknesses. Because it's almost like, to come into your energy, I need to bare my soul a little bit. It's just something that happens. So you know my weaknesses. That way, it's like, if I'm on your team, not only are you showing me how to protect my own weaknesses, you're helping me build through them and get to know them, but you are also, when you see somebody else targeting my weaknesses, you're stepping in for me. You're standing up for me. You give off like older brother, older sister vibes. Like the older sibling I never had. You give off that. Yeah, I feel like you give off that. You know what, like my older sister I was never close with growing up, because I didn't even know I had done until I was about 13. But like, I always can imagine growing up with an older sibling, you would think they're quite cool. You know what I mean? Like, you'd want to maybe dress like them or kind of be like them, or I don't know, you'd look up to them maybe. And I feel like you kind of have that vibe, like that older sibling vibe, where it's like, they've got my back. They'll call me out on my mess, but they have my back. And they know the game because they've walked it before me. They're one step ahead in that aspect. Yeah, I feel like you give off that vibe, Pile 4. I think that you're quite witty, quite humorous, quite witty. You know what to say. You know how to debate. I would say as well to anyone not to try and like get one over on you and argue with you. I feel like you have an answer for everything. It's like someone coming to you and thinking, I've got a good thing to say to them and I'm going to say it. You saw that coming, because it's like they're saying it to you and you're like, boom, you have an answer for them straight away. You didn't have to think about it, while they were there a week before, typing it all down, writing it all down. I see that from you guys. But it's also admirable. I feel like you're very funny. very witty. It's like, I want to hear what you have to say. It still stands out about you. I want to hear what you have to say. You're very funny. It's reminding me as well of a scene. I never watched Euphoria, but I've watched clips. And there's a scene in Euphoria where there was, I think she was like the popular girl, Maddie. And she was talking to one of the girls. And the Maddie girl is known for being very confident. And she's talking to one of the girls who I think feels kind of insecure. And she is like saying, if you don't feel confident, you just need to act confident. Because a lot of people don't realize that you're acting, and if you just give off that energy, you just appear confident. People don't realize that you're acting. So it's like, I feel like you have that vibe, but I'm being shown that scene more like you giving advice. It's like, you've walked these streets before, you've walked these halls before, you've walked this life before. It's like there's wisdom there. So it's like you're one step ahead in that way. And I think you give really good elderly advice, but it feels more like older sibling. I don't know why I keep looking at you like you're cool. I think that's what stands out about you. It may be a certain way that you dress, a certain way you carry yourself. I think that you've mastered both elements of your masculine and feminine energy, because there's a coolness that I'm picking up on. Some of you guys may be around people that may be a lot younger. I don't know why I'm picking up on that, because it's almost like I'm looking up to you. It doesn't have to be that. It's just you... I don't know, you give off popular person. You give off like popular person that I'm looking up to. But it's your confidence that you're oozing, because you've balanced your masculine and feminine. It's like Rihanna energy. It's like a Rihanna energy. Like, she, no matter what she wears, it's like she oozes confidence. And that sexiness and that confidence, it's not coming from outside approval. It's coming from internal approval. I don't need anybody's approval. It's coming from within. That sexiness is coming from within. It's not the clothes I'm wearing. It's not me showing skin because I want to appear a certain way. This is just me. I'm in, you know, a hoodie and sweats, and I'm appearing alluring and I'm appearing confident because it's coming from within. It's an inside job. And that's what people notice about you. You can't tell me who I am. I know who I am. You can't make me feel small, because I already feel big on the inside. I'm being shown the scene of Rihanna. She was walking down, like, I don't know whether there's a catwalk or like a show, and there's fans waiting. And one of them shouts, "You're late." And she just walking all grand, and she just kind of side eyes the person, looks at them and goes, I can't say the word, but she's like, "No-sh." You know what I mean? Like, no-ish. Like, and I'm Rihanna. You know what I mean? Like, you can just see it in her. It's like, I'm Rihanna. Don't, no. You know what I mean? And I don't think you do it in like a cocky way. I don't think you like, because you may get that. I think you get people that project on you and like, oh, you're cocky. Oh, you're loud for no reason. Oh, you're cocky. You think you're above. Do I think I'm above, or do you think I'm above? Because it sounds like a projection. Because I'm just sitting here eating my apple, minding my business, and here you are in my business, and you want my validation. You want to knock me down a peg or two, and I'm not trying to do that to you. I hope you enjoy your apple. I'm not doing that to you, so why are you worried about me? I feel like you get that sometimes. Whereas a lot of people, I think you have a lot of people that, I keep wanting to say cool, like, I'm looking up to you, you feel cool to me. You may even give off main character energy, because I'm being shown, you know, when like a celebrity or like an artist or something, like they'll set a trend and then everyone's doing it. I keep being taken to Rihanna for some reason, but like when she shaved that side of her head and then everybody shaved the side of their head, or when she did the bright red hair and then everyone wanted the bright red hair, or like when Kylie Jenner had the turquoise hair and then everyone wanted the turquoise hair, and it's like that. It's like you have a kind of star power sort of vibe. It's quite interesting. I haven't even pulled your fourth card yet. Pile number 4. You don't need to say a whole lot either. It's all in your body language and just your energy in general. 3 of Cups, couples costume, the build-up. Yeah, I feel like people want to be on your team. People want your expertise. or maybe an outfit that they're wearing in regards to like a relationship that they're in, and they want to see what you would do in that situation. What would my pile number 4s do? There's a lot of that in looking up to you. What would pile number 4 do if they were in this situation? How would they act? How would they act in this situation? What would they say in this situation? You almost looked at as badass. You're a badass person. In the best way, you know? Back of the deck, you have vision board, a new opportunity, ace of thoughts. And when we think of a vision board and we create like a mood board, we put on what inspires us. I like this outfit. I like this house. I like this. I like that. I like that. I feel like you're the type of person to be pasted onto somebody's mood board. I want to act like this, or I want to dress like this, or I want to look like this, or I want to hone this craft like this person. This person did this, and I want to do that in my own way. I think you have that a lot with the ace of thoughts, ace of swords, which is really, really interesting. I think a lot of people want to get to know you or want to be on your team. Some people may get a bit intimidated. Some people can project. Because it's almost like, be smaller, hide yourself so I can feel better about myself. And you're like, nope. I'm just doing me. I'm not popping in my shell. And you can't make me, because anything that you'd project onto me to make me go into my shell, I have already alchemized, and I'm constantly alchemizing, so I'm one step ahead. Don't bother. And you could make, some of you guys have been always like this. It's just something you've always developed. Your soul came down and was like, I want to be like this all the way through. Some of you guys, I feel like you had to grow into this. Some of you guys had to learn to put boundaries in with people, learn to not take on people's projections first. Maybe you shone very brightly and were very open with your shell and let anyone in, and then people started trying to hack at you, and maybe people projected onto you and you took on their projections. But then you alchemize them and pop back out with better boundaries. That's for some of you. And if that's for some of you, you might have been drawn to a different pile first. I'm not going to say the pile, but I think there's a particular pile you would have been drawn to as well, because I think it's before and after. But for those of you that only were drawn to this one, it's because maybe you've always been like this. Yeah. Let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number 4. Pile number 4. What is it about my pile number 4s that stands out? Energy. A light inside my fire divine. Energy fill me, make me shine. I don't know why I just shook this. Vader has not left my side, guys. He's literally sitting by my legs. He thinks I'm gonna leave again. He won't leave me be. Pile number 4. I think the reason I said that as well is you're very protective, and I feel like you're very protective of people that may have their weaknesses on display or remind you of yourself before. There's a feeling of you to protect people's weaknesses where they can't, or where they haven't been able to yet. Yeah. Which is why they're looking at you as an older sibling, because you've been through a situation where you've had people project onto you and you know what moves they're going to make because it happened to you. So now you've bounced back, reverse Uno, got a harder shell, but protecting that beautiful light within you. You give that beautiful light to the people that come into your circle, but there's a fierce protective energy where you're like leading a pack. Feed me to the wolves and I'll return leading the pack. That is your energy. Because now I'm leading the pack, and now I've got all my wolves around me and I'm protecting them because I know everybody's first steps and I'm not letting them get to my pack. So I'm going to protect where I need to protect, and I'm going to call out what I need to call out, because you're hiding in the bushes there, but I remember you doing it the last time, and now I'm one step ahead and I'm wise. Don't try me. And if you want me to be a bad guy now or project onto me, that's okay. I'll be the bad guy. I don't mind. Get out the bushes, I can see you, sort of thing, you know? Because you read people better now. And this is why there's an intensity, because you are hip to things, you're intuitive, you read people now. It's like you were more intuitive from the spiritual perspective. Maybe you saw people's woundings. Maybe you saw people's softer side that had them lash out. And maybe you gave the benefit of the doubt to a point then where maybe you got cut. And you took on other people's projections. Where it's now, it's like, I see that depth in you. I see why you're doing this. However, that doesn't fly with me. Because yes, I mastered the energy, realm before. And you were able to get into my shell physically because I wasn't keeping an eye on it. But now I'm in this physical world and now I'm popping out of the shell and I'm here rooted in, but I can still read energy. So now I've got that divine feminine, that divine masculine energy, very balanced within me. Both swords in my hand. Choose which sword you want to fight me with. We can go at it. Very fierce about your peace, very fierce about your heart. And that's something that stands out about you. Not to play with you. You are fierce about your heart, your energy, that beautiful light that you have within you. 100%. We also have romance, and this is the thing. People that have been loved by you remember it. Even when you've had to cut them off, people remember being loved by you. People remember the wisdom you gave. People remember what you added to their life. Maybe that's where they were trying to feed off it, So people remember that. Whereas the right people, they come in and they honor that. They tend to the garden. They plant their own seeds next to you. They see you like that. Whereas other people try to yank at it. And that's why you're protective. You might have even gone through a time period where you were on your own a little bit of a lone wolf. Because when I looked at the Seven of Thoughts, which is the Seven of Swords, stepping out of the comfort zone, it's like I'm coming out the shell now. I have to deal with this. And it's like walking down this path. And I'm here and I walk a lonely road. The only road that I've ever known. Like I'm hearing that. So you may have been on a bit of a solo journey before you pop back while you're finding your light again. And it's like, feed me to the wolves, I return leading the pack. Now I'm wise to this physical realm too. And I know exactly who I am and I know my weaknesses now. Look at my tribe now, I'm hearing Raw by Katy Perry. Yeah, I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything, Katy Perry says. You held me down, but I got up. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I see it all, I see it now. Like the thunder, something. I am a champion and you're going to hear me roar. Yeah, it's like a double back. I'm also hearing Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow. That's another song coming through. Yeah. It's like, I'm hearing you're not going to see me sweat. You're not going to see me sweat now. I don't even sweat anymore. That's what I'm hearing from you guys. I'm hearing the Gloves Up by Little Mix as well. We have Destiny. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. What stands out about you now is, and I want to say now, is how fearless you are. There's a fearless energy about you. You'll walk into the eye of the storm as calm as a cucumber. I don't know if cucumbers are calm, but if you were a cucumber, you would be calm, if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? Like you walk in to the eye of the storm very calm, and you just pop out without a mark on you, Don't even fear it. Don't even sweat it. You come back as the storm. Love that. Well, I don't know what you've done. I don't know how much you've grown or what people have seen, but I think you really stand out, and it's the switch in energy too. Interesting. And with the couple's costume, if you see they're wearing a mask, you see through people's masks. And if you think about it, these human beings wearing a mask, it's a skull that they're wearing. It's a skeleton mask. Now, if you're wearing a skeleton mask, but your skin's below it, it's inside out. You read people from the inside out. You see people's inward energy before you even see, that physical side. I feel like you've mastered both realms. I think that's part of why you incarnated. It's quite interesting. I think you would have gone through a shadow period, maybe an ego death. Interesting. Lots of wisdom with you guys, especially with you guys choosing the turquoise crystal. Interesting. Back of the deck, you have prosperity. As this tree grows so strong, so fine, so may I prosper from the universal divine. You rooted yourself into your darkness so you could bloom. And now you're sturdy. And no one even knows where to start. You know what I mean? If they were to try and bring the tree down, it's too rooted into the ground. You can't. So are you going to honor the tree and admire the fruits? Or are you going to whine? Because you're not going to be able to take it down. That's the energy I'm getting here. But you have a lot of people like championing you, I feel, and looking up to you. And I think that while we've dwelled on some of the darker energies with you guys, is because I think it was a big part of your process, to show you where you maybe had, you know, shadow sides to you, so that you could gain control over them. A lot of the time when we have a setback or something like that happens, we can use that as a lesson to show where we need more control, you know, where we need more protection, where we need to evolve. And it has us evolve. And I think that that's been a big part. I think that's why we've had to focus on the more shadow aspects. And if you did pick another pile, there was another pile with some shadow aspects that came up. And I think that might have been your pile if you did pick another pile. But I think it was all here to help you evolve. And, you know, the fact that we have the romance card, I think that you are such a loving individual. I think that you have such a beautiful heart. I think you're such a beautiful light. But you've had to protect that. You know, which is really interesting. I think people see you as very cool. So yeah, pile number 4, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.